people, welcome back to another stream of Never a Foul, the late night evening debate. You know what time it is. We've got a great panel with us today. Obviously, the originals are still on. Me, Cass, Mo, and Daps. And we've got a great guest today in Roy representing Chelsea because we've got a lot to talk about, especially with Chelsea Football Club as well. So, guys,
did you just call Roy not an original guy? Did you just say?
No,
did you just say that?
I'm so hurt. I'm so hurt.
Did he just start the stream with calling Roy not an original?
Nah.
Well, I want to know more. He said late night evening show. So is it night or evening? Which one?
Let's chill on it.
Also, more so, it should be late evening night because late night evening is just completely different. Actually, late evening is night.
Depending on where you're watching in the world, it could be anywhere. It could be morning.
Fair point.
Right, so it's late night, evening, morning, afternoon.
Late night, evening, morning. Yeah. Let's go with all of it. Yeah. Big up everyone that's watching. Over 150 of you already here. Make sure, look at that. For the first 1 minute, you got to smash a like just for that. We're already debating and it's not even football. We're talking about times a day. So, guys, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new as well. Also, make sure you check out Terrace Cult down below. You can see the Scan Me code right there if you want to get your discount 15% off. And yes, people, I am wearing the new United shirts. If you want to get on for me for looking like a zebra, I've already been called a zebra. Call me more. I don't mind. Let's roll with it. But yes, man, them. What we saying?
Number one, let's in the chat, guys. Do you like the new Man United jersey, away jersey? Yes or no? Please let me know.
Second thing to debate
is shit.
All right, no problem.
Well, I don't get it because Fraser said, Ty, I rate that ugly shirt. So do you rate it or do you not?
It's ugly because it's got an ugly badge on it. But as far as the shirt,
you like the shirt then, Dap?
I think I said to Cass, the shirt reminds me. It's weird because to me right now it looks black and white, but actually when I've seen it up close, sorry, pardon me, it's green in it, and it looks a bit like a certain South American team, I think.
Now you know what? If you took the badge off, I would think that was the, if you took the badge off, I'd think that was the Juventus kit. I promise you.
Nah, but it's not bro because it's not black. It's green. When you get up close to it,
it looks black on the stream, Daps.
Yeah. But it does. Yeah? That's exactly what I said.
You remember
green,
when that thing was going around? Yeah, Daps, you remember as well. I think all of us remember. Do you remember that thing was going around like 5 years ago, and it was like that dress, and people were saying it was white.
Oh yeah.
I've got another debate though. I've got another debate. Right? If say you and a couple of mates are having dinner, yeah, and like the plate of meat comes out and there's enough for everyone to have 3 pieces of meat each. But then at the end, you find out you've only had 2 and certain men have had 4. Is that not like a little bit rude?
Someone look guilty. Someone look guilty. You know what I mean?
Is this a life story, Daps?
But why wouldn't you take 3 in the first place?
No, because me personally, it's like, do you know what? I don't want to be greedy. I'm going to have 2. And then once I've eaten that, I'll go back for my 3rd piece.
Yeah, or save it for lunch.
And here's the thing. And here's the thing, right? That if it gets to a point where, do you know what? You're still hungry and you've noticed someone hasn't had their 3rd piece yet. You go, guys, is anyone going to eat that? Or do you mind if I have it?
Right. Can I just throw an assumption out there? Cass is guilty, isn't he?
Yeah, guilty is sin.
Hey, you know what it is? Yeah, I didn't even know there were 9 pieces. I saw Mo and Dax go for some hench pieces of chicken, and I thought, all right. I see there's like a couple small. I just got the couple small ones.
No,
and then
you're coming with this narrative that I had 1 big one and 1 small one, right? Because again, I thought I'm not going to have 3. I'm going to have a bit of both. I'm going to be polite about it. And when I look back at the play, there was literally I reckon there's more than 9, by the way. But anyway, there was plenty. When I was the last to take the 2. Right, and there was still, I reckon, a good 4 or 5 pieces left on that damn plate. I look back and the plate's empty. That's what it is.
I'm here to talk football. What is going on?
Yeah, what am I hearing about beef at a barbecue, man? What are we doing here, lads?
It wasn't a barbecue. It was
that's Saturday.
Cooking. It was Mo's good cooking. Mo cooked some really nice food, and
Daps is really hurt about
Daps.
No, the other thing, I've been hurt twice in this house. I've been hurt twice. Secondly, is
you got to charge it to the game, bro. Like next time, you just got to take all your pieces.
Well, I know that now.
Can't leave any behind, man.
When I got home from work today, I walk in the house, right? And I like walking in the house. And one of the positives of having people move in with me is when you walk in the house, it's like, hi, and it's like, oh, good, I'm on good vibes. Everyone walks in. I walk in today. Mo comes out of the toilet looking like an absolute zombie and disappears into his room. Cass stands there on his phone, reading his phone, and then doesn't say a word to me. So I went and had a sleep because I thought, you lot are just moody, man.
I joined you on that. I had a nap as well, and I feel refreshed.
Anyway,
Yeah, football. Here we go. Here we go. Like someone said, we're a bit late and we're talking 8-minute food review. To be fair, we don't just start our shows talking football straight away. We have to just talk normal life like you lot do at your homes. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, smash the like button on your way and like you take your shoes off at your house.
When you walk into a pub and you meet your mates, yeah, before you start talking football with them, don't you ask them how they are, how the kids are, like how the missus
I
is,
reckon
how's
pub man are
work
just
been?
like, do you want a drink? I don't.
Yeah,
do
yeah,
pub.
probably to be. Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Hold on, before you ask me about my missus, do you want a pint? Then
Yeah,
you go into that. But yeah,
Yeah, then
anyway,
you go
so
into
that we've done the formals now. Now we can
yeah.
get into
The
talking
drinks
about...
are on the way now to the table, and it's time to talk the football. Because guys, as you can see in the title, we've got Romeo Lavia. His bid's been rejected, 37 million by Liverpool today. We're also looking at Kudus. And if he will go to Chelsea or Arsenal, see what Roy thinks on that. And if he wants him also at Chelsea Football Club. And then we're going to do an interesting one sort of to end the show. Which top 7 manager do you think could leave first? But save your comments now. Don't get them in. Don't get your super chats in on that one yet. Because we'll talk about that later on. But yeah, Cass, Lavia, we've been talking about Amrabat quite a bit lately, to be fair. And then obviously Liverpool, Fabinho, that's still up in the air. But Lavia seems to be the guy they're going for. Southampton want 50 million. Liverpool bidded 37. Are they going to meet him halfway at 45 million? Is this a deal that you just see waiting to happen now?
Yeah, it has to get done at this point. Surely it gets done at this point. So, yeah, it has to get done. If the valuation, the thing is, Liverpool are not going to bid 50, are they? They're not going to. If they do, they're just idiots, in my opinion. And they've been doing good deals. I think if they add something along the lines as a 45 million package, then more or less Southampton have to accept it. It'll be stupid not to.
Yeah,
he's a good player. We don't know what's happening with Fabinho anymore, so it could be a good DM partnership.
Could you imagine they keep both?
Potentially, yeah, because they wanted Lavia before Fabinho went into leave anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong there? Like they did want him before the whole Saudi thing. So yeah, man, if they get Lavia, it's a big signing. I just don't know how much I would rate it though if Fabinho does leave.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing in it, because when we look at it, when you've got Rodri, you've got Casemiro. I'll come to that. I want to see what that is, and then obviously anyone can jump in. By the way, we've got Rodri there at Man City. We've got Casemiro there at obviously United. Arsenal, you've got Thomas Partey, who I put more in that experience bracket as well. Yeah. If Lavia is to come in and be that main defensive mid Daps, when you look at what Liverpool are trying to do, which is go for the league, do you think that lack of experience, putting that pressure on him to come in at Liverpool, could not say be a bad thing, but is he ready for that?
Yeah, right. So last season, at the start of last season, I think with Mane leaving, I think Liverpool would... Am I right? Liverpool were not kind of playing with Harvey Elliott and Carvalho. They started playing a bit at the start of last season. And I felt like Klopp was maybe putting a bit too much faith in two young players so early on. Like it's fine. Young players, you have to have the experience. For me personally, and look, I'm not saying it won't work because Klopp's a great manager and whatever, and they're good players, but I feel like you have to have the right balance. In any team, you have to have the right balance. It's good to bring young players in, but you need the experience there. Now, you look at Liverpool's midfield. Let's remember James Milner, right? Very experienced, right? Henderson, very experienced, and the captain of Liverpool Football Club. Has he gone now? Has he gone yet?
Yeah, I see him apparently doing a goodbye video today.
And we have to be clear with this. Look, whether you love Henderson, hate Henderson as a player, whatever, as a captain, he's got Liverpool over the line a lot of times. Yeah, he's led them to things that Gerrard didn't even lead them to, right? So, and also for me, England as well. I personally feel that with England, he's more of a leader than Kane is as well with the players. I sense that very much, that players listen to Henderson. Why wouldn't you? He's won everything. You're not going to listen to Kane as much. See, you've got Henderson, Fabinho, and Milner all gone. They're three most experienced midfielders. Admittedly, you've got Thiago, but I don't necessarily think Thiago's a leader as such. And
I hear you.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's some players that's like, De Bruyne's a baller. I'm not seeing De Bruyne as a leader. I'm seeing De Bruyne as a baller, right?
Great.
So then they've got who they've brought in. I think McAllister can be, but I think it's McAllister's first season, right? The other guy they've brought in, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name.
Szoboszlai,
right? Again, first season. And then they bring in Lavia. Now, I'm not saying it won't work, but I'm saying it's 100% risky. And we have to be clear as well, by the way, Trent, if Trent is inverting, Trent's only done that for what? 15 games max? So it's not like Trent's been doing that for years. And, you know, it's a whole new midfield without... Who's their leader in midfield? Can someone tell me?
I actually don't think they have one. I'll be honest with you.
Who's
It'll be McAllister then.
Yeah.
Probably. It'll be
McAllister's not a leader, man. I know Mo said different, but Mo waffles more.
But Mo based him being a leader on the fact that he played football with Messi. Literally. He played in the World Cup with Messi. So, you know, you telling me he's not a leader? Oh, okay. Well,
Who said that? I was like,
it's kind of.
I'm
You
like,
said that, bro. Cash, did he or did he not say that?
He did say that.
I said he had the experience playing under pressure. I never
We
said
were
he
talking
was
about
the
leader.
captain.
No, he's talking
And I
about
actually,
leadership.
He's on the show talking about leader.
no,
when he said it.
Yeah, he's the one, like the Zerbi said, him and Pascal Gross were the people that used to relay the message to other players. That's what a leader is as
He played
well.
with Messi. That's what you used as your narrative. Was he, you know, you're
No, I
telling me a
didn't.
guy.
I said
You
that's
did.
under
You
pressure.
fully did. Cass.
The next in line, the next in line for leadership, I would say, yeah, is Thiago.
I'll go. What, in
That's Van
midfield, you
Dijk.
mean?
It's Van
Yeah,
Dijk.
Thiago.
Yeah,
has to
yeah.
be-
Van Dijk captains, but midfield, Thiago, yeah.
Oh yeah, defo.
Yeah.
What do you think, Roy?
Well,
Is Lavia even a good
No.
signing like, if Fabinho leaves?
I think Lavia is a fantastic player with tremendous upside. I really, really, really do rate him, and that was even before Chelsea were linked with him. Like, I think he's a fantastic player. However, this is like your shirt tie. This is very black and white. If Liverpool want any chance, and I repeat, any,
It's green.
A-N-Y,
It's green. It's
I was
green.
about to
any
say
chance.
green.
Nah,
But
look,
carry on,
it's
bro.
black and white on my screen, bro. I can only say what I see, man. You know, like catchphrase, fam. Anyway, listen. Liverpool's title hopes rest on keeping Fabinho and signing Lavia. There's no two ways about it from my perspective. I think, like I said, Lavia is a fantastic player, but to come in and play lone six in a title challenging team in probably the most important position on the pitch right now in current football, defensive midfield,
Yeah. Fully.
and where you're gonna have to be consistent over 38 games. You can't have like 3 good games and 3 bad games and 3 good games and 3 bad games. You need to be consistent week in, week out, like we see with Rodri. I don't believe Lav is ready to do that yet. And for me, I think if you keep Fabinho, he might have lost the athleticism he had in the past, but with Trent inverting alongside him, he didn't have to cover as much ground. So if you're now bringing Lavia into the mix, you've now got a young defensive midfielder who's unproven at the top level. You've got Trent, someone who's only just recently started inverting. You've got Szoboszlai, a Bundesliga import with no Premier League experience. And then you've got McAllister, who's probably the most settled in that midfield three as we look at it right now. If Liverpool want to do this 3-2-5, 3-4-3 box or whatever. To think that can go 38 games competing with City and potentially Arsenal, maybe even United if they get who they need, I think is so risky. So for me, they have to keep Fabinho. Because not only that, as in Fabinho knows the 2 centre backs behind him, like the back of his hand. He knows most of those forward players like the back of his hand because he's been playing with them for like 1 season, or with guys like Salah, like 5 seasons now. So from my perspective, I think if Liverpool want to win the league next season, which I don't think is particularly likely as things stand, they have to keep Fabinho. And then you can phase in Lavia, because Lavia on his own cannot be consistent and good enough over 38 games to take down a Pep Guardiola side. I'm sorry, it's not happening. Like, you're
Okay,
just
Roy, so if they don't get, there's 2 questions I want to ask. The first one I'll say to you on the back of that is, if Fabinho leaves and they get Lavia in, and that's their midfield sorted in terms of McAllister, Szoboszlai, and Lavia comes in, Liverpool fans and a lot of football fans think they can potentially challenge again. Where do you think the max is they could finish? Would you say 3rd? Could they even finish above Arsenal for you if they only sign Lavia? That's a better
I thought, to be fair, the way teams are right now, everyone's got questions because City have lost some key players. They've got questions. Arsenal, is this Rice, Odegaard, Havertz midfield? Like, is it just fantastic in FIFA and on paper? Or is it actually on the pitch? Can it do a job? So other teams have questions. But if we just assume City will replace adequately and Arsenal will be round about where they were last season, maybe a bit higher, then I personally don't think Liverpool can finish above those 2. Like I said, you cannot go into next season with Romeo Lavia, again, fantastic player, but he's 19 and unproven, as your only defensive midfielder. There is no chance you win the league. I'm sorry. There's no chance. you have to keep Fabinho. For me, you
So
have to
Mo,
keep him.
do they have to sign 2 players then if Fabinho leaves?
Yes. Listen, Lavia, for me, he isn't ready to start week in, week out in a top 6 club. I'm sorry. You cannot win the league with a 19 years old as your main DM. Simple as that. And if Fabinho, let me just say something. If Fabinho stays, and if Fabinho continues with the form of last year, and they get Lavia, that's not enough. That's not enough to go above Man United and Arsenal. Man United have a Casemiro. Arsenal now keep him party. You have Rice. Man City are Man City. It's only going to rely on Jurgen Klopp. And I'm only putting my faith in Jurgen Klopp. But on paper, on the pitch, you have a 19 years old and someone who had a stinker of a season last year as your main DMs. You're going to rely on Trent inverting. I don't know how that can work. As he said, Szoboszlai.
I think the key is as well is that it's risky,
It's all
right? We're not saying it won't work, yeah, but it's risky.
Doesn't it rely on Klopp, Daps? Most likely.
Yeah. Do you know what? Here's where I'm going to stick up for Liverpool. It probably does rely on Klopp, but there's times where I sometimes say, like at the moment with City's, if we look at City's window now, I will be honest. Look, yes, Gundogan has gone. We've brought in Kovacic. Laporte hasn't gone yet. So although people are throwing toys out the pram that we haven't got Vardio yet, Laporte hasn't gone. Walker hasn't gone yet. Mahrez, I don't actually believe has been officially announced yet, right? So, but at the same time, and Bernardo, it looks like City are doubling down and saying, we don't care what people offer. He ain't going. We're not going to sell him, right? So in hindsight, it looks like actually there's not that many players leaving City, but I do think there will be. And the same way we're saying it relies on Klopp, I'm relying on my board and my manager getting it right. And with Klopp, I still got credit in the bank that if anyone can get it right, I do think Klopp can get it right. And I do think, but I do hear what you're saying, the whole, they're losing a lot of experience. I said if we lost Bernardo Silva and Gundogan in the same season, I'd worry a bit, right? I think losing Henderson, Milner, and we really can't forget the Milner one. Milner one's massive, right? Milner has been a massive, massive player for Liverpool. You know, I know his legs have gone, but as far as a leader on and off the pitch, I think he is a bit of a leader. So I think it's a big risk, but you know what? I'll be honest. Those Liverpool fans that want to put faith in Klopp, I get it. I do get why you'd put faith that Klopp could pull it out. And I also think with Roy, what Roy said about Fabinho is spot on. That, yeah, Fabinho had a bad season last season, but he's 30, maybe 31 now, right?
29.
Is he still 29?
Yeah.
You sure?
He's younger than me.
Are you sure he's still 29? Is he not turned 30 yet?
Who's this?
Fabinho.
He's 29.
Fabinho.
Right. Okay. So there we go. Sorry. So there we go. Fabinho had a bad season last season. Some might even say he's had a bad 16 to 18 months. Yeah. But before that, he's pretty damn good. Right. Now,
and that's still a good age for a DM.
No, bro. Fernandinho did a job when he was 37 years old.
Yeah.
Right. So based on, and we have to remember that Liverpool played a lot of games, had a pre-season playing a lot of games as well last season. He could have been burnt out. By the way, I'm going to share something with you guys. City's first team, City's main physio, has come out and basically done I think it's in a lecture or something, or a talk, and he said that this whole myth that people that play the most games get burnt out is not true. That actually, if you look at it, there's studies that prove that people that consistently are playing, so teams that don't rotate too much often don't get the most burnout because they've got the best fitness. So anyway, but back to the Fabinho point, I think give Fabinho a bit of a rest. Why could he not get back to where he was? He's only 29 years old. Are we really saying at 29 he's completely gone? His legs are gone, and at 29 years old,
it's not like, and you know what it is, that so it's not like loads of Liverpool players were excellent last year, so you can say, right, do you know what, X, Y, and Z was excellent, Fabinho was crap. Look where Liverpool finished. It's not just on Fabinho. We're talking about a team like Trent as well, who we know is good. Robertson had a bit of a flat year. Let's be honest, he kind of gets away with it a little bit. You know, other players that have been in that Liverpool team haven't really delivered. So just because Fabinho hasn't, it doesn't mean he's done.
The high press, the high velocity of football, of press that, you know, Jurgen Klopp wants to look at Robertson. He's at 29 as well, bruv. He got the same legs. Wijnaldum didn't, when he left, he didn't have the same legs after that. You know, Fabinho, not the same legs. Mane, to a degree, was slowing down at a rapid rate. He's only about 30, 31. The only one that hasn't really slowed down is Salah.
Yeah.
Salah, and look at Hendo, 33. To be fair, he was a machine. But a lot of these players, like, you know, I just don't think they were managed.
What do you think it is, Cass? Do you think when you play for Jurgen Klopp, I'll let Mo run the likes in a minute. When you play for Jurgen Klopp, Cass, do you feel like he gets the best out of you to your optimal level? Once you're at your optimal level, you stay there like they have done for 3-4 years. But once you kind of go off the gas, it's hard to then get back going again because he demands so much energy. Is that what you think?
Yeah, man. And I think it's lack of rotation a little bit as well. When you got your 11, it's probably hard to rotate off of it. But he had his trusted midfield. He had his trusted back four and everything. I just think you either you got that natural fitness in the bank and you work really hard, or if you don't and you think you're going to have it just from normal training and that, then you're going to slow down very quick. Look at Wayne Rooney; it's a great example, man. As well, you can name so many different players who used to play at such a high intensity of level. You can't keep up for more than 10 years. I'm sorry, you can't unless you're special like Ronaldo.
Yeah, guys, there is over 500 of you here. Hit that like button for us. Let's get to 300 likes quickly. The like button look like this, and it's free. And as I said this morning, if you're selfish, don't hit that like. But if you want the channel to grow, hit the like so we can expand and we can go to the next person. The like button helps us go to the next person. If you want more people on this channel, hit that like button for us, please. It's free. Doesn't cost you a penny, but it helps us massively. On the Fabinho thing, listen, sometimes players that hit a dip in form, muscles can take it, and that's that, to be honest. At that level, that's that. It's done.
Remember, Fabinho is like 29 going on 40, and he's got like one lung now, so his career's finished, in my opinion.
It's going to be interesting, guys. That Mo said, make sure you run up the likes. Obviously, the Fabinho deal hasn't gone through yet, but I do think on the Lavia thing, before we move on, I think this deal gets done. I feel like Liverpool are a bit like Man City in terms of when they do business, they get their business done. I feel like the McAllister one was the one transfer where it kind of dragged out. And Liverpool are not known for me in terms of like dragging out. Look at the Fabinho one we're talking about. When he got announced by Monaco, went under the radar. The Luis Diaz one in the January transfer window, that just got announced out of the blue. This one has been like sort of brewing for a while. And I don't feel like Liverpool are the club that are going to allow something to brew so much when they need a DM as well, and then they don't get Lavia. I think the fact that they've bidded 37 million, I feel like now in football, and I think you guys will see this as well, when teams have a release clause, it's different. But when teams just bid for a player, when does the first bid ever get accepted? It doesn't. It's like, right, we're going to test the waters. Southampton are going to come back and say, right, they want 50. And Liverpool are going to say, right, here you go. Here's 44 million plus add-ons. And the deal gets done. So I personally think that we'll see Lavia in a Liverpool shirt. He wants to play in the Premier League. Let's not forget Southampton have been relegated. And
he ain't staying at Southampton, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Klopp wants him. So I think this deal does get done. And it's just a matter of timing, really.
But I think that's the wrong deal. I think that's the wrong deal. They should have gone for Palhinha or Amrabat. I'm sorry. If you get Szoboszlai and McAllister, you should have gone for Amrabat or Palhinha. They were linked to Palhinha. I think Lavia should be your third choice. He's young. He's not ready yet.
He's too good to be third choice. The guy can't be third choice. Come
on.
Did you just say Palhinha is young?
Right. What he means,
say Palhinha is young?
Amrabat, Palhinha.
Okay, yeah.
Well, who are you saying was young? Palhinha.
Lavia is very young.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like Palhinha provides experience. Amrabat has experience. Go get one of them. Yeah, if Man United have an agreement with Amrabat, go get Palhinha. At the experience with Szoboszlai, who's young. Remember, McAllister is only 24. You have Trent, you have Harvey Elliott, you have Curtis Jones, you have Pajicic, whatever that name. This is too young to win the Premier League.
Yeah, man. They needed a DM last year, man. Like, you got Gakpo and Nunes. It's true what Yella Dean was saying. They needed a DM. They was going to get Chouameni. They should have got a DM that year.
Yeah,
and not this
or
year.
even January. Why I still to this day don't understand why they didn't get a DM in January. But I guess the fact they didn't get Amrabat in January off the back of the World Cup he had, and the fact that
Fabrizio said Fiorentina weren't letting him leave.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah. They said no matter what you offer, unless you offer stupid money, We're not
Right,
letting
okay, I didn't know
United
that.
and Barcelona
It
pushed for him
makes
in
sense now.
January.
They were still
Yeah.
in Europe at that time as well, and they eventually made the
Yeah,
final.
exactly. Yeah, they were in the
And
Conference League
get
as
it.
well. They can't let their best midfielder
Yeah, that
go.
does make sense because
Yeah.
at the time I was thinking I don't get why no one's gone in for him, but that does make
Mm.
sense. But look, I think the whole thing that's interesting with this whole DM thing, because you got to remember going into this summer, right? United's kind of, I wouldn't say United needed a DM, but United were in the market for a DM,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Chelsea were definitely in the market for a DM. Liverpool were in the market for DM, and the talks were that with Partey potentially leaving, Arsenal were in the market for a DM. So 4 teams, but then there's only X number of DMs out there that people want, and I think it's interesting as they get taken out of the mix, what's going to happen? Because like the minute Chelsea get Caicedo, then right, so no one can get Caicedo. The minute Arsenal go, we're keeping Partey, right? That tells you now Chelsea and Arsenal aren't going to be in the market for DMs, which all of a sudden means that Fulham and Southampton, who both obviously want to make a lot of money. Also, actually, we've got to be clear as well. West Ham wanted a DM as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Right. And they've got a lot of money.
But
but what I'm saying is the more these clubs play their hands and go and get a DM, all of a sudden Lavia's price is dropping. Because Southampton, the minute Arsenal, Chelsea have got their DMs and gone, we're good, we're not in the market no more, all of a sudden Southampton can't be telling Liverpool, no, we want 50 mil. Otherwise, we'll just get it from somewhere else, because Liverpool will be like, who are you getting it from? Or are you going to keep him for a season in the Championship? Because his value's not going to go up. For me, if he has to stay at Southampton for a season, yeah, in the Championship, his value's not going to go up, is it? Because even if he has a good season in the Championship, it's in the Championship, right? So there's not going to be like, oh, well, now he's worth 80 million. So I think Southampton do have to sell him for me this summer, yeah? And also, you got to remember, City have a buyback clause of, I think, is it 40 million?
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
Right? It's 40 million. So, and that triggers next summer, yeah?
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah. So again, this summer is the summer for Southampton selling. So now with people pulling out, Liverpool are getting into a stronger position. Again, if Man United play the hand and say, we want Amrabat, all of a sudden Liverpool are like, well, Southampton, who else are you going to sell Lavia to? Because all the clubs have now played their hands, gone and got their players. You sell him to us for 50 million, or potentially, if Calvin Phillips has another bad season at City, yeah, are you telling me that City maybe next summer might go, do you know what, let's move Calvin on and release that 40 million buyback clause on Lavia and bring him back? So at the moment, if I'm I get where Liverpool are looking at this, playing the long game, thinking we are going to get Lavia, but it's fallen into our hands to get him at the right price. So
yeah, and I also feel like with it, but we're going to move on to Kudos. I just feel like with it, they haven't got much competition as well, like you said. So I feel like Liverpool have got a free run at it. Guys, there's 550 of you here. Please make sure you keep smashing that like button. We want to get over 300 likes definitely before the end of the show. 400 if you're feeling nice tonight. So please make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're new as well. And big up for you guys watching, and get your comments in as always. Mohamed Kudus. Ajax midfielder, attacker, winger, false 9, number 10. He can play a bit of everything, to be honest. 24 years of age, and he's been linked to Arsenal, but more so Chelsea in the last 24 hours. Chelsea, I don't know whether it's just agreeing personal terms with a few players, but actually narrowing down their targets, or if they genuinely want Kudus, because obviously Olise's been in the hunt as well. So, yeah, Roy, what are you thinking about this? Because obviously you've been watching your players in pre-season. You're looking quite sharp. Players look energized. They look like they're really playing for Poch and wanting to show that they want to be here. Is Kudus a player that you can see fitting into what Poch is trying to build at your football club?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm a big fan of him. Like, I think he's a top player. I think he offers a lot of versatility. I think he's one of few players who could probably play right centre mid, left centre mid, right wing, false 9, and probably on the left too. Like, that's a very, very valuable profile to have. Similar to Bernardo Silva and like Foden, where they can play in literally all 5 lanes and they can operate to a good level. So that's a very, very good player to have in your Arsenal. And
no, he's linked with Chelsea.
that would be a very good player for Chelsea to have if they bought.
That's quite sharp, actually.
And
you're looking to get one of like Cherki, Kudus.
Yeah. So there's been like this debate on Chelsea Twitter about, do we get Kudus, do we get Cherki, or do we get Olise? For me, I think like they're all so different because like Kudus is a great dribbler, great ball carrier, very versatile. He's got a good goal threat. And then if you look at Olise, he's more the like stay wide, creative passer, like can make things happen, can score a banger out of nowhere, like if he needs to. And then the Cherki is sort of a combination of the two where he's creative like Olise, but not as creative. But he's more of a goal threat than Olise, but also he's not as much of a goal threat as Kudus. And also, but he's got Kudus's dribbling and ball carrying abilities. He's very good technically. So like it's a really tough one. For me, I would go Olise first because I don't think we've got a creative passer in this team like a Odegaard or a Bruno or a KDB or someone like that. We need someone who their first thought is, what can I make happen for others? And yes, in Nkunku's, he can be creative, but he's not a creator. Like KDB is a creator. Yeah, he can score goals, but his main goal is to create chances for others. And that's why I feel like Olise does better than the other two. But we're talking about Kudus here, and yeah, I do think he'd fit in well. I think if you put him on the right of our system, I think he can do a job. I think if you play him at number 10, he can do a job. And also, like I said, he's a rare player where he can stay wide and do a fantastic job, but also they can come inside. And if you've been watching us in pre-season, like it's been a very, very fluid. Like our formations have been quite fluid. There have been times where the right wing has been stretching the pitch, and maybe the left back's inverting, and then sometimes the right wing is tucked in, and then the right back's pushed up, and then like so the optics are just and dynamics are changing all the time. So that's
where you need a player that can play in different positions.
Yeah, in a system where you might be out wide, you might be in half space, you might be really narrow in the middle. That's why I feel like the interesting Kudus is coming from. Will we sign him? I'm honestly not sure because I think Cherki's probably last. I think it's going to be Olise or Kudus for one of us, I think it's going to be one of them for us. But Kudus, I think he's a top player. He's done very well at Ajax. I haven't watched a lot of him. If I'm going to be brutally honest, I've only watched like a few comps and a couple of Champions League games. But I remember he played against Liverpool at Anfield, where I think they won 2-1 because Matip scored. He was playing false nine. He scored a fantastic goal that game. So like he's shown that he can perform in the middle. We know what he can do out wide with his pace, dribbling and carrying. So for me, like I said, I'm not mad at all if he signed him. I think he's a fantastic player, but I think creativity should be our priority. So I prefer Olise, but we'll see what Arsenal do because with Arsenal, they've got Reece Nelson who should be Saka's backup. If Kudus comes in, is he going to be third choice? Is he going to be third choice right winger? Will he be Odegaard backup?
I have to disagree, man. I think Kudus suits you a lot more. You need more goals than more creativity. I think. You got Nkunku. We don't even know if Jackson's a proven goal scorer like that or more of a creator. Then after that, I don't know who. You know what I mean?
Point,
you need goals, and you need more seniority in the team in age, like a 24 than the guy that's 21 or 19, 20, whatever Cherki's age is as well. You know what I'm saying?
Cherki's 19.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I don't think you need more youngsters. Your team is breaded in youngsters already. Why do you need more youngsters that might like? I'm not saying Olise wouldn't make it at Chelsea. He probably would. And I like Olise a lot, to be fair. But Kudus I think is just a profile that you don't need and that you actually probably need in goals.
It's true, yeah. He's another source of goals.
Do you know that something I said earlier on I think it was on Henry Wright's channel? We were talking about Arsenal, and what they seem to be doing is it seems to be that they're liking going for these players that can play in multiple positions, right? And it does make a lot of sense. Obviously, it allows to be fluid in transition. But I don't know if they're going over the top with it. I don't know if, what's the term about...
too many cooks spoil the broth.
No, about master...
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Jack of all trades, master of none, right? And look, it's very important to have these players that can play multiple positions in transition. But at the same time, like, if Arsenal need a goal scorer, which is what some Arsenal fans are telling me, not what I think, what some Arsenal fans are telling me, then go and get a goal scorer. Don't go and get someone that, could be a goal scorer, but also can do well. That's what Jesus can do. That's Jesus, right? And then with Havertz, like, again, if Partey stays, I think Rice plays in the 8 role. But in Havertz, have they gone and got Havertz because they think Havertz can play in the multiple positions?
Probably.
It just seems to me like they're going out and I'll compare it to City. That City's, I actually think Arsenal's squad is now getting big. Yeah, City's squad is not big.
Really big.
Yeah, and it's not being spoke on that City's squad is it's not that big, but it's got, it's got depth in the quality of the players. It seems at the moment like are Arsenal just literally trying to get loads of players that can play in multiple positions, and it's gonna. I don't know. I'm starting to think with if they're in for Kudos, and you're telling me Kudos can play in every single position apart from DM, right? Literally play left 8, right 8, 10, wide left, wide right, 9, everywhere. It's like, is this what they're trying to do? And it could work. Don't get me wrong, it could work. But if they need a goal scorer, I wouldn't. If I'm Arsenal right now, I don't know. I'm trying to keep Balogun, for example, instead of trying to.
Yeah, and apparently today he trained on his own. Actually, funny enough, you say that.
That's
yeah.
Just one more thing about Arsenal.
Balogun.
Just one more thing about Arsenal and Kudus. Like Daps was saying, Arsenal squad is really big. Like they've got Rice, Partey, and El Neni at DM. Right 8, they've got Odegaard and Vieira. Left 8, Havertz and ESR. Martinelli, Trossard left wing. Jesus and Nketiah, Balogun. Saka, Nelson. You add Kudus to that. Like, where's he taking the starting spot?
I think Kudus is more of an upgrade on Nelson. I think Kudus is an upgrade more on Nelson, that he can be like.
He just signed a new contract, so are they going to sell him? And then even if that is a spot, he's not going to be playing much because Saka's their starting right winger. And
that's true.
Injured, they're not going to drop him.
The squad's getting really big.
Of course, we don't take,
and it's not a bad thing, by the way. And don't get me wrong, them having 2 players in every position is a damn good place to be in.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
But I'm just kind of thinking, and it's another one on top of it. And then and again, this isn't a conversation like for me to say, I think Arsenal are going to drop off or anything. I'm just pointing out the way it is. And then it's like, right, like Roy just said, does that push Smith Rowe out? Does that actually genuinely just push Smith Rowe out completely? Because, it seems like Odegaard and Vieira are the right choice. So the left choice is, are we going to say that's Havertz and Rice?
Do you know what I think, Daps? And I think it's a shame. Havertz's price tag will push him probably above ESR in the pecking order.
Exactly.
But ESR actually is an 8, is the better player.
More physical.
Right now.
Problem.
Yeah, it is. And it's just, and this is a conversation. This isn't slander. I'm just intrigued to see, because I haven't really been a fan of Smith Rowe. I haven't seen much of him, so I can't. But Arsenal fans talk so highly on him. And then I've seen that, he's had a good World Cup with England. Then I've seen how big the guy looks. The guy looks like he's going to be far more physical than Havertz could ever be. He definitely gets goals, right? But because exactly like you said, because Havertz is coming for 65 million, I can't imagine they're going to bring him in for 65 million, then go, yeah, you ain't starting no games, right?
Yeah. By the way, ESR's coming off the bench before you. Yeah, like.
And so I'm intrigued to see. And at what point will Smith Rowe actually go? Well, do you know what? It doesn't look like I'm going to get a place here. My age and where I am after that good World Cup and whatever, or Euros, sorry, not World Cup, good under 21s Euros. Do I look at a move and what moves are out there? So I'm just intrigued to see. If they manage to keep them all and keep them happy, great. But
I hear you 100%. Big up for the super chat as well. Jan Arva Nygaard, he says no risk, no reward. If you don't have to put another super chat in, just explain what you're like in regards to that. Because obviously we spoke about a few things with Kudos. Is it Arsenal, Chelsea? You're relating that to? So
could
be
Liverpool.
Another normal comment, and I'll be able to.
How long ago was it?
1 minute ago.
Oh, well, it probably isn't. Yeah, so it might be on Arsenal.
Yeah, how you pronounce that so well, but you can't pronounce anything else?
No, that's what I'm saying. What I do, I just try to keep your mind, Cass, guessing. There we go.
Okay.
So, guys, so put your cash in your pocket.
Guys, keep running up the likes as well, man. I keep forgetting. I'm coming, by the way, tomorrow, Daps. Guys, keep running up the likes as well. Please make sure you keep doing that and support the channel. Please subscribe if you're new as well. Actually, I've got a question for Mo, and it's funny enough what you mentioned, Roy, because it's kind of leading me on to it. From a tactical point of view, Mo, when you look at Poch and what he's doing with his squad, right? Do you think Chelsea need a versatile player in someone like Kudos to what he's trying to build, or do you think no, Chelsea should be looking at players that are, should I say, I don't want to say stylish, but they've got the X factor and what they're good at. So like Riyad Mahrez hugging the touchline, being on the right hand side of the wing, that's his position. He stays there. Michael Olise, I know people say he can play 10, but he stays on the right hand side. Great 1v1. That's his X factor sort of moment. Do you think they should be going for an X factor person in terms of Michael Olise, plays on the right and that's that, or someone like Kudos where they can float him around? What do you think Poch should be doing right now? What would you do?
I actually think Kudus is more dangerous than Michael Olise. I love Michael Olise, but
Okay.
Kudus, I think Kudus plays as a right winger. In the second half of the season, by the way, all the second half of the season, he played as a right winger and he scored. He cannot play in the midfield at all. I don't think he's a midfielder at all. He have no defensive abilities, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think he's an attacking mid or a center forward or a right wing the second half of the season. I think Chelsea's problem last year was scoring goals, so they need a Kudus. And I think Mohamed Kudus suits them more than Arsenal, in my opinion. They need him. I'm going to say they need him because who plays on that right side? Madueke. He's not experienced enough. Kudus has Champions League experience. Kudus has the Eredivisie underneath him. He played first team many times. How many first team games has Madueke played? Probably I can count them on like two hands, right?
Oh
Something
no,
like
he was
this.
injured. He was injured for PSV quite a lot. And I
Yeah,
like
he was,
PSV last year. If anyone watched PSV at the start of the season, Madueke was wicked and like he was in and out of the team. And PSV were actually a delight to watch with Xavi Simons and that, and even Gakpo. So even though I didn't really rate him too much.
So Kudus can play in the right wing, can track back. He's physical. He has athleticism. He's athletic. So I think they need someone like him. I like Olise and everything, but I think Olise, maybe if between Kudus and Olise for Chelsea, they need a Kudus. Olise can go and develop under Pep, right? Chelsea need a right winger that is ready now today. Olise is good and everything, but I think they need goals.
You don't think Olise is ready now?
No, I think he's ready now. But as you said, they need someone who score goals because Sterling need to score goals, and then Kudus score goals. Who's the striker? Jackson. We don't know anything about Jackson. I don't know anything about Jackson other than the friendlies he played. I think Kudus suits them more.
Yeah. I think, no, I'm kind of deep in it. I think Kudus is probably more suited to Arsenal. I think Elise is more supported, more suited to Man City.
Man City.
I would say Elise might actually be a little bit more.
I think Elise suited City. Sorry.
No, sorry. And then I think like Cherki might be more suited to Chelsea because I'm
thinking have a Nkunku cast.
Yeah,
Nkunku similar to Cherki.
I'm thinking of Cherki's like
Cherki's good.
His dynamism, like when you think about what Chelsea have and what profiles they lack, they don't have that Cherki kind of type. And I know he's younger, and I know it's just kind of screaming they need goals. I think Cherki gives them that something in the attacking lineup where everyone looks at him like thinking like,
what do you feel like? I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, but you know, like Hazard in terms of picks up the ball and can just run past players like that, like the dribbling inside, taking on players. Because when I've watched Cherki for Lyon, he is one of them players like he's just got that Algerian flair. Them North African natural ballers, they do. Boy, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you know, man.
Ben Arthur, Mahrez, like Cherki, they just have this thing about them where they can just get the ball and just run with it.
Do you know it works? Why it works for them? Because they got that right back called Malagusto, and they also got another right back called Reece James. That's a lot of cover for what you need down that right hand side for how athletic they are. And you think who's going to be beside them? If they're playing a double pivot, Cherki doesn't need to track back as much as he needs to. No one ever thought about that. That's why that's the whole point of a double pivot.
Yeah. It is going to be interesting, guys. 650 of you here. Please make sure you smash a like. Continue to do so as well. Subscribe if you're new, and also check out Terrace Coat down below there. If you want to get some new gear ready for summer, even though the weather's crap at the moment, I don't know what it's doing. Please scan that code, and Daps is repping it now, so make sure you go and check that out. We're going to go on to this one now, and I think some of you guys might want to get your super chats in as well, because we're going to debate for the next 20-25 minutes which top 7 manager we think could leave first. And it doesn't mean we have to just talk about which one leaves first. We could just talk about all of them and maybe a bit of the pressure. By the way, someone did say you including Tottenham and Chelsea in that. I don't know if they're taking the piss, but Tottenham manager, of course, Chelsea, of course, are involved. Newcastle, of course, are involved. So yeah, like I was just thinking
Newcastle,
about
they finished third.
Yeah, true. But you know when people don't class them,
I'm saying it. I'm going to say it. Klopp.
Yeah, I think
Klopp.
I'm saying Klopp.
That's
a big call.
That's not a big call because I think Angie and Poch have got time for me. They're allowed to have their season. I don't even care. And I think Eddie Howe, as much as I'm saying if he finished below sixth, I think he deserved to get, booted maybe. But it depends on how back he gets this summer. But at the same time, I think the love of the Newcastle fans might allow him to go again. As long as they get some sort of football. I don't look at it like that. Howe might be a shout for me in that mix. You could even some people
leave first.
Maybe. Arteta could be in there. Maybe I think because it depends on where you finish. If he
Don't let
finishes-
the comments get in your head. Don't
Oh,
let
no.
them comments.
Cass is firing shots.
Hey, I'm watching him and he's
Cass
thinking,
is
these
firing
names like,
shots, bro.
oh,
Hold up, yeah.
hey, Cass can't. Cass,
No,
stick with it. Go with your chest.
I am. If Arteta finishes third or fourth and no trophies, sackable, bro. And you just spent 65 million on Havertz for what? When you could have got like a Caicedo for more. We don't know. It's all. But I actually think it's Klopp because the way his season did end, which was great, and the way he is getting back right now, if he has another way to the start of the season as he did last year, oh my word, busted. I don't think he'll leave.
That is the interesting point because I was actually I was thinking about it today, which is why I brought it to the panel, yeah. And I was like, if Klopp doesn't start well, I actually think he could be in trouble. And it's just because the carryover. I know people say he's got credit in the bank, and I respect it. He has got credit in the bank. But I feel like the way football is today, it only lasts so long. And you had Liverpool fans that we actually have on the panel, big up the man them that come on. Some wanted him out last season, some wanted him to stay. Now they said, right, the backbone of it was he hasn't got the midfielders that he needs. Now if he gets Lavia, despite if I was not say we should get Polinia or Amrabat or whoever it is, they're getting Lavia, so that's a midfielder. They've got Szoboszlai, a creative attacking midfielder they haven't really had since Coutinho. They've then got McAllister, can play 8, can play 10. That's still a World Cup winning midfielder, and a lot of teams will take him. So they've sorted out their midfield. So if Jurgen Klopp, with the pressure of Liverpool fans even saying they should potentially challenge again for the title, and then they flop at the start of the season, where does Klopp go from here with the eyes on him? Because they've got the new players in. They've kind of had their blip last year. And then the fans and the players are expecting to bounce back again with no European football, by the way, 1 game a week. It will be like, ooh, question marks could come out. And I think with Tottenham's manager, I think this is the first time that, you know, if they get their centre-backs, they're backing the manager. I feel like he will get time just because his history says that he'll get time. And then Pochettino, I feel like with what he's building and have made the mistake of Graham Potter, he will get time. So I feel like the manager right now with eyes on him come the start of the season will be Jurgen Klopp. And that's an asterisk if he does not perform like Cass said.
So hold on. So the question is, which manager gets fired if they
No.
don't perform? Or
Was it fired?
Yeah, I'm
No, I
trying.
think
Which
no.
manager
No,
leaves
no,
first?
I'm trying to understand. Is it
Which
who
part
gets
ways?
fired?
Which club and manager part way first?
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
However it is, part ways.
Oh,
I don't think. Look, I don't think there
I
should
can
be a
actually
world.
hear the logic in Cass's.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't know.
No, you're the one that came up with this, I swear.
Me.
But
Oh.
I don't look. I
Okay.
think there's. I don't think there's any way that Jurgen Klopp, and I don't think there should be any way that Jurgen Klopp gets sacked. Right? Just
He
'cause
would leave when he does. I think they would
leave,
just say, you know what?
He'd
it's
never
come
get
to an end.
sacked.
For name's sake.
And let's be
Didn't he get
again.
sacked before?
He won't get sacked. He won't get sacked. He won't get sacked.
Sacked or asked to leave, whichever way.
It'll be a mutual. As long as we will know is a mutual agreement, right?
Yeah.
But again, let's be clear with this. What Cass is saying, I fully 100% back. But I think Cass would also agree that Klopp would also be put up there as a manager that could challenge next season, right? So we're not saying
But that's why it's part of the pressure, that's because I feel like
Yeah,
and other managers haven't got that with because Klopp should maybe be challenging if he gets off to a horrific start.
But then there's another thing. There's another twist to this, right? Is that we're saying if Klopp challenges, which he might do, then obviously he won't go anywhere. If he doesn't challenge and he starts the season badly, the board might be like, do you know what, mate? There's a bit of pressure on you now. However, there's another alternative. And the other alternative is that starts the season badly and Jurgen Klopp is pissed off at the board because he's like, once again, you have not backed me how I required to be backed. I'm starting to get pissed off now that I'm having to take the flak for this. And you've got to remember that Liverpool's fans, they back Klopp. A lot of Liverpool fans back Klopp a lot, rightly so. Now, FSG have, in a way, got away with, because of the fact that they've won the Premier League and won the Champions League and invested the Coutinho money correctly, that's the thing. Not they invested their own money, they invested the Coutinho money correctly, right? That they've got let off the hook. If Liverpool perform badly again this season, I'm interested to see if the fans go with Klopp out or go with blaming FSG, right?
Klopp out. They backed him, Daps.
Yeah, that's I was gonna say.
No,
Daps, they backed him.
How have they backed him?
They bought McAllister,
Oh, what,
supposed
40
like they're
minutes? Sorry,
in for
so
a
no,
DM.
stop this right now. Yeah, we are talking
Stop this.
Liverpool have recently won the Premier League and the Champions League. They're a big club that generate a lot of money, right?
Oh, you're saying they haven't backed him when it was on top?
Let's be real, bro. They have
Right.
not. Don't say they've gone and
But they
spent
back
40
them now.
Okay, Mo, they've
not
gone and
much.
bought a 40 million pound midfielder,
I
yeah,
love debates.
and you're saying they backed him. No,
No,
Chelsea
no,
are
no,
about
no,
to
no.
go and spend. What don't you understand?
Mo, you'll have your say in a
Chelsea-
sec. Now this is good.
Chelsea
You have your say in a sec.
Chelsea has spent 600 million. They're about to buy Caicedo, right? Man United are going through an ownership change, and they're still giving. Oh, have FSG really backed Klopp? You're saying because they've gone and bought a 40 million pound midfielder that's backing for a top 6 club in the Premier League? I don't believe that's truly FSG backing Jurgen Klopp the way he deserves to be backed.
Hold on, Daps. I'm sorry. They got him Nunes as he wanted last summer. They got him Gakpo. Now they went and spent 60 million in Szoboszlai. They went and spent 40 million in
I forgot about
McAllister.
Szoboszlai, to be fair.
They're gonna go and spend 40 million on Lavia. That's 140 million on the midfield, just in
Excess.
one window. They're gonna go and get a central defender based on the reports, and they got him Gakpo.
But let me hold on.
One more point.
Yeah, go on.
And they gave Salah the contract he wanted.
Yeah. Okay. So here's where, and again, here I am playing devil's advocate because I am telling you what Liverpool's fans, I believe, will say. Because, like I said, Liverpool fans will, in my opinion, will back Klopp because Klopp is the one that bought them the Premier League. Klopp is the one that bought them the Champions League. Klopp is the one that's won every trophy for them. Yeah, and took them from where they were to where they are now. Now, Liverpool fans will come out and say FSG have not backed Jurgen Klopp the way that Abu Dhabi and Sheikh Mansour have backed Manchester City. That is what backing a real challenging, consistently season in, season out Premier League club. That's backing the way City have backed Pep, the way Chelsea look like they back most managers, the way the Cronkies have backed Arteta. That is backing a manager. Coming out now after last summer and because of the drop-off, buying a few players, which we've just had a debate about being young players. Caicedo, 90 million. No, we'd rather get Lavia for 40, right? Is that, I think Liverpool fans will turn on, and this isn't me, I'm just saying, I think Liverpool fans will turn on the board before they turn on Jurgen Klopp.
Oh, I've got the figures here. They've spent, since Jurgen Klopp has joined Liverpool, he has spent £756 million since 2015. In 8 years, quite low.
And also, if you look at the money, hold on 1 second. And also, this is the thing that I said, that what is very relevant to this is because it's backing or invested money, reinvested, right? That you then put in the amount of money they got for Coutinho, the amount of money they got for a few others, right?
250 million they've
actually, in those years, is that really a lot? Is that real backing?
No,
for a
I
manager
agree
that's
with you
achieved
on this point. I'm talking about this season. I agree with you in this point. FSG has not kept up with the other clubs in terms of backing a winning manager, 100%.
And I think the fans will turn on them before they. And I think the fans will turn on them.
No, they're already on it.
You know what? Though?
Not probably, bro. Not probably.
What do you want them to do? They're flying banners. They're flying banners. They're protesting.
No,
do you want them to boycott the club?
Mo. So
when
Liverpool, and when I say Liverpool right now, I'm not talking about globally. I'm talking about the Anfield lot, the lot that go week in, week out. When you're saying what more can they do, I'm telling you now, if the Merseyside, the Liverpool, the Anfield lot turn on the board properly, they can do a hell of a lot more than fly a plane, bro. Like real talk, they can make a lot of noise. So they can the same way the United lot can storm the ground, the Liverpool lot can all do that, no problem. They can, and that's what I mean. That it could get very toxic up there for.
By the way, I got figures wrong. They got £480 million in worth of sales. By the way, so that's like 300 in. It's going to be more.
The mad interesting part is
next Ben trophy
is that, like, even last year we were talking about Liverpool needing a midfielder last year, but Jurgen Klopp and this is I'm kind of playing devil's advocate again now. Jurgen Klopp repeatedly came out and said, I'm happy with the midfielders. We'll go into it for this season, and then we'll assess as the season goes on. Obviously, he's had the season he's had, and he's realised, right, we need to rebrand this midfield. He kind of stayed loyal. Remember, we spoke about it so much on the show. And Daps, you remember me and you done bare shows on it. We're talking about Klopp's loyalty to these players, and it's like he's taken the loyalty too far, whereas actually he needs to realise he needs to revamp this team. And he found out the hard way last year. So maybe Klopp didn't actually want to go and get midfielders. So as much as Mo's right in his sense, Daps is also right in his way as well, because Klopp could be part to blame because maybe he didn't see the reinforcements needed as quick as we did. So it is interesting. Roy, where do you stand on this? Because obviously me and Cass have mentioned Jurgen Klopp. Daps is saying that Klopp's under pressure. Actually, Daps, just before I go to Roy, who was your manager, by the way, that you think?
I'd probably go with Klopp as well. To be honest with you, I'd probably go with Klopp, but it is with the very big caveat that I also think that Klopp could challenge next season, then it wouldn't be Klopp. But I think it's the one it's a risk versus reward. It's a risk one.
Yeah, it's interesting. Right, I'll just come to you in a sec. I'm just going to read out Craig Adams 667 with the super chat. Thank you, bro. It's a super sticker. Love that. Thank you so much. Much
what
appreciated.
Sticker is it? Just so I know. What does it look like?
I wish I could click on it and see.
I have to look on YouTube. I'll look on YouTube.
It was 11:07.
Appreciate Craig. Thank you.
Massively appreciate that, Craig, man. Thank you for the super chat as always, and hope you guys are having a blessed day as well. Roy, you've heard me, Cass, Daps sort of consider Jurgen Klopp. By the way, before Liverpool fans get onto us, he's still a good manager. We're just saying different types of pressure this year as well. You know what they're like in the comments. But yeah, Roy, where do you stand on this? And you could even throw Poch in there if you wanted to as a Chelsea fan. You're muted. 1 minute.
He doesn't want to say Poch out loud.
There you go.
Nah. I think Poch is a guarantee for next season. I think the chance of him leaving or getting fired it has to be an absolute disaster for us to get rid of him next season. I think it's pretty much a guarantee.
That would never happen. That would never happen.
It's true, but no, the thing is, if you look at what happened with Tuchel and then Potter and then like Klopp, Poch is going to be here for the whole of next season. About this whole
my cousin coached Chelsea
Liverpool
at some point.
If this whole Klopp, did they back him? Did they not back him? Is he under pressure? Like, if you look at what he's won there and how he's been able to sustain his success, getting 90+ points to Prem, champs, both domestic cups, the pressure's already there. And if you look at what Liverpool have gone through this summer in their midfield, like I think Daps was saying earlier, they could lose Fabinho, Henderson, and Milner, and replace them with a 19-year-old Lavia, a 22-year-old Szoboszlai, and a 24-year-old McAllister, all who haven't played together before. Like, only one of them has like proper Premier League experience, and that's McAllister in terms of starting week in, week out for a good side. So I think, and if you look at that midfield, like I said, a bit similar to Rice, Odegaard, and Havertz. Is the idea better than what it actually is? Because you think, okay, you know what, it blends well. Like McAllister can play box to box. We saw him play 6, 8, and 10 for Brighton. Lavia is a DM. Szoboszlai is an attacking 8/10. Like, it seems like it blends well, but there is a chance that it might not be what we think it is. And I think it was Ty was saying it. If Liverpool don't start well, Klopp's in trouble because they didn't start well last season. And if he didn't switch up his tactics, Liverpool would have finished like 7th, 8th, 9th, God knows. So Liverpool have to start well next season. And even though I sort of looked at Kaz a bit funny when he said Klopp at the start, but I'm thinking about it. Pep, there's no chance he's leaving first. Arteta, similar. I don't think there's any chance. Poch, I think will get the season. Andrew will get the season. Who else is there?
Ten Hag will definitely get. Ten Hag
will get the season.
Yeah, Ten Hag.
So that just leaves Howe and Klopp. And
wait,
Howe.
Whoa, wait, yo. How's Arteta escaping this?
Oh no, you can. Let him
finish. Let him finish.
I think Mo's maybe got Arteta on the whole.
Yeah, Mo's waiting with Summit as well. I think I'm waiting.
I'm waiting too. I'm adding.
I'm waiting for you two. Roy, you finish because I'm waiting on these two.
Go right.
Like, from my perspective, I think the main two candidates that could possibly leave, even though I don't think it's particularly likely that any of them leave, to be honest, I think it's Howe and Klopp. And with what Howe's just done, he's got more recent credit in the bank than Klopp does. Because Klopp just came off the season finishing 5th. Howe has just got them into the Champions League for the first time in like 20 years. So Howe's got very big credit in the bank, and it's very recent credit as well. So I don't think he'll go. So even though I looked at Kaz a bit funny, I actually think the answer is Klopp, because like I said, the expectation is for Liverpool to win the league or at worst challenge for the league. It can't be a top 4 scrap, and it certainly can't be competing for 5th and 6th. So,
yeah,
and
it's
with what Liverpool have
interesting.
gone through
Yeah,
this
man.
season,
I'm
the
gonna
midfield might
play
not go as we expect.
Yeah,
I'm
run
gonna
up the
play
likes,
tonight.
people, as well. Still
Yeah.
750 of you here. We're just hitting the hour mark. We're gonna do a few more minutes. But Mo, did you
It's
have
gonna take
Arteta on the
I'm
hobs?
gonna play exclusion game. I think Pep is no pressure, even if he doesn't win the league, it doesn't matter. Even if he's third by December, who cares? You know what I mean? I think Eddie Howe, I echo what Roy said. He has credit in the bank, very recent Champions League. He's gonna be given the season. And I think Poch, no matter how atrocious Chelsea might be, he's gonna stay. Ange, for me, might go. This is the least pressure, but the first one to get pressure. I think if they don't perform, he might go, especially if Kane stays, which is I doubt it. I think the second one that has the pressure is Ten Hag. I think if Man United comes December are out of the top 4 or something, not performing well, especially if they get a striker and they get Amrabat, I think that's a lot of pressure. I think he might get sacked at that point if you're not performing, because you spend the money and you're expecting results, and results mean by December you're in the top 4 with your legs on the ground.
One sec. So if he's not in the top 4, which he only just got to last year, by the way, by the end of December, he might get sacked. If he's 5th or 6th, he might get sacked.
Yes, absolutely.
Now that is some bollocks. Trust me, he ain't getting sacked. Not by
then.
Maybe,
that's exact. Maybe by the end of the season, he's saying.
5 gets
So
you.
you think if you don't get Champions League next year, you don't think Ten Hag is under pressure to get sacked?
No, yeah, but if he doesn't, but you're saying this is
November, December.
What I'm saying, so hear me out. What I'm saying is that if by December he's far from the top, let me just, if by December he's as far as Jurgen Klopp was from the top 4 last year, he might get sacked. That's my opinion. I think the next one is Jurgen Klopp has a lot of pressure, and I think actually the first one for me that has pressure on is Arteta. If Arteta isn't performing to the levels that Arsenal fans and the board is expecting after all this money that is spent, him getting Havertz, Rice, I think he gets sacked, because there are candidates in the market. The Nagelsmann's in the market. There are other coaches will be on the market. I think this is it for Arteta. He needs by December to be around the top. Not around top 4, by the way. He needs to be around the top. I think Arteta has the most pressure between them. The reason why I'm saying him above Klopp, that Klopp got a young squad in the midfield. As Roy said, there has to be time given to him to gel that team. But for Arteta, no. It's only 2 new additions, right? Is Arteta
three. Timber.
No. Oh, but I'm talking about starting. Starting for him, it's only it might be only Rice. It might be only Rice, by the way. It might be only Rice. Improvement on Xhaka, as people say. But for Liverpool, they have 2 new midfielders that might start every game. And who knows, if Fabinho leaves, that might be 3 guys starting new. Also, remember, Luis Diaz coming back from injury. Arsenal don't have anybody come back from injury. I think Arteta has the most pressure, in my opinion.
Interesting. I'm gonna get quick super chats so we don't miss them out, guys. Great super chats here. Mohammed A says Arsenal fans will turn on Arteta if he doesn't win.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
He will listen to Lee Gunner.
Tenzin, big up Tenzin as well. Tenzin Walden says, I think Arsenal will not finish in the top 4. Teams that play Champions League other than City fell off so hard. Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea, because of squad depth. So he's thinking that Arsenal
squad depth is there though.
I think that's what they've built on. Yeah, I think their signings are built around that, and I think that's the purpose of why they signed them. But thank you again for the super chat, Tenzin and Mohammed. Great super chats there. Cass, are you loading with an Arteta shotgun as well?
Well, yeah, I'm going to keep it consistent. I keep most things consistent. You just spent 105 million on Declan Rice, and you got Havertz to 65 million. Now, if that pairing or experiment don't work and it costs you the league or whatever, then you need to get sacked, mate. I'm sorry, but if you don't finish second or first now with Arsenal, you need to be in and around the league. If you don't win it to see, that's not an embarrassment. Yeah. If you do well in the Champions League, that's not an embarrassment. It's your first time back in after 6-7 years or whatever it is. It's not an embarrassment. Go win the FA Cup. I think you're fine. I think you'll be fine as long as you're around that. But I'm just saying along the lines of, if he finishes way off the top mark in the league, and let's say he gets knocked out in a round of 16 or something along them lines, I don't even win a domestic trophy on top of that. I'm sorry. What are they called again? Cronkies. This is where it will show Arsenal fans if Cronkies are serious or they're not serious. If they're not serious and like the top 4 and the money and all that kind of stuff that they generate, they will keep Arteta. if they are serious about winning the league and going forward and think we just backed you and you've had your 700 million in the last 3.5 seasons and stuff like that, and he doesn't impress, and then you want to get the Arsenal fans aboard, you sack him. That's my opinion. Because see, for me, if I'm going into my 3rd season with Ten Hag, this is Arteta's 4th, but I'm going to give him that half of the season. I'm going to scrap that, to be fair, because that's not his signing, something like that, right? He only had to just come in control. 3rd season, my expectation, Ten Hag, after all this money's that's going to be spent and will be spent, let's say it is 700 million in total, right, by the end of the 3rd summer and plus or whatever, and he doesn't go and get me anywhere near a major honor or doesn't perform to a high standard to go and win me the league or even go further in the Champions League, because I think, like, since you still got the Casemiro and Varane, you've got Champions League experience, but Arsenal don't. I need to be seeing more than a quarterfinal personally, especially now we're in Champions League this year. And I'm saying next year, I'm calling for his neck, mate. And that's the way I'm looking at it, because if it's my manager, I'm going to be fuming if we don't get nothing. I'm not saying we have to win the league. I'm not saying Arsenal have to win the league, even though I can be shameless to say we have to be
being competitive. 100%.
Is that my 3rd season or this season?
3rd season. In his 3rd season. In this season, Ten Hag, let's say, drops to 7th with this squad. Questions have to be asked.
Yeah,
okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
I think
I agree
anyone
with you.
want to say? I think that's
yes,
a great way
yes,
to wrap it up.
yes. I want to
Go on, Mo.
ask Roy and Daps a question about Man United. Ten Hag gets Onana, he gets a striker, Amrabat, he signed Casemiro, Malacia, Anthony, and Lisandro Martinez. What should be the expectation from your point of view, looking from outside to Man United?
My point for me, Man United, with where they are as a club, because I honestly believe that the most important thing with any club is direction from the top and knowing what direction the club is pulling at as a whole. And you've seen that with Arsenal. You've seen that with City, that everyone at City is on the same page. The board downwards are telling everyone what direction we're going in. You've seen that with Arsenal now. Everyone there is pulling in the same direction. At Manchester United at the moment, they don't know what direction they're pulling in. Ten Hag is doing a sterling job, in my opinion, trying to lead the rest of the team. But the board, there's no board setting expectations at the moment, because the board apparently don't want to be there no more, right? So they don't know who's going to own them yet. So it's kind of, for me, next season, if Manchester United stay in the top 4, I'm not, do you know what, by the way, I'm kind of seeing this 5th place is all a bit mad to me, because I don't want to sit here now and say, oh no, finish in the top 5 and everything's fine, because you're still...
Yeah, top 5, by the way, doesn't start till 24, 25.
No. You get
it.
Man City won the league. Because Man City won the Champions League. Whoever gets
Cass, think about it.
Goes to Champions
So,
League.
Cass, think about it. Sorry, not Cass. Ty, think about it. The next season is the last season of the Champions League, how it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, by the end of next season, the people that go into the Champions League need to be in the new format. So, however it ends at the end of next season is the way it goes into the Champions League for the season after. So, but ultimately, I think if Man United need to just stay steady. They need to stay steady. They need to continue to get Champions League football. They need to continue to go on runs in the cups. They need to go. Look, they can't be getting knocked out of the Champions League. I think that's another relevant one. That Man United just get knocked out of the Champions League, that's a cross against Ten Hag's name. They need to go through what they do once they go through. I don't think Man United can be expecting to win no Champions League next season. I personally don't think Man United, even based on the players they've bought, can be expecting to win a Premier League next season, because even if they get even if they get Kane and then they have a best 11, we've just said about the reason why Arsenal needed to strengthen their squad, right? Because the drop-off with Man United at the moment between their best 11, even if they get Kane, is still there. So I think they just need to keep that ship steady until the new owners come in, and then the real expectations will start.
Yeah, I know. I think that's fair. What about you, Roy?
Soft.
Oh, Roy, you muted again. 1 second. There you go. Go on. Oh no, wait.
Yeah, my bad.
Cool.
I think the best way to assess United's target for next season isn't by position. I think it's actually by points. I think they got 74 points last season, something around that.
And 58 goals.
Yeah, 58 goals, which not fantastic.
Yeah, not good.
I think the best way to assess it is by points. So if you add Onana, who can help build up from the back, he's more commanding in his box than De Gea. Then you add Højlund, who is a proper, he's an inexperienced but in the profile-wise, he's a proper number 9. And if you add who I personally think United need a proper deep line playmaker, a high volume passer in midfield. I don't really believe this Casemiro Mount pivot nonsense. I think that's just I don't think that's a good pair. I think if you get Amrabat, you get Onana, and you get Højlund, I think United should be aiming to go from 76 points to 86 points. That should be a 10-point jump in my opinion. There's no reason why those three can't get you 10 more points than last season. There's no reason. You've got a number 9 who can score. You've got a keeper who can help you play out the back, and you've got like hopefully you get like in Amrabat you've got a defensively sound, high volume passer next to Casemiro, which is exactly what he needs.
Yeah.
That's what he had in Madrid. So there's no reason why.
So we should be finishing in the top 3 then for you.
I think minimum top 3, as in United.
Love that, Roy.
United should be challenging for most of next season. You should be setting the. You should either be setting the pace or keeping up with the pace setters for most of the season. If you don't quite get there, fair enough. But you need for most of the season until at least February.
I don't want it. I hear that.
Let him land.
No, setting the pace might be a bit
Love
far,
it, Roy.
but you have to be for me. Onana, Højlund,
I know the comments are this.
Amrabat, add that to a 76-point team.
And Mount.
Yeah, Mount as well. You have to be with the pace setters for most of next season, and you have to be jumping 10 points up.
I want to say something as well. Yeah, I agree. I want to be around third. I have to say that around third and second. I said it.
If we get around Amrabat and Højlund, Cass.
Yeah, I want to be in. I want to be in around that. It's not good enough otherwise. But I don't think it's a major thing. But I like how people say, Ten Hag might have, we've only spent 300 million grand on 400 million. Guess what? If you want that logic, you have to apply more logic, right? Eddie Howe spent 301 million with more to go. So should he also, because what the hell is this? Get out of it. So should he also be challenged for the league, or are we going to actually put some context behind where both clubs have come from? Just saying.
It is going to be interesting. Like the expectation from rivals, I think.
This is for idiots that don't know how to talk without articulating that properly in the comments.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool. Big up the guys that are liking and obviously showing love as well, man. But I do think it's interesting with Ten Hag because I think if we do get Amrabat, which we wanted that midfielder, we get Mount, we've got Onana, we get a striker. Evidently, apart from the centre back, I have to own it. That's basically a new spine, and spines are what brings teams together or should uplift teams. So, yeah, would I want more goals than what we got last year? 100%, Roy. Would I want more points than what we got last year? Because the home form was very good, by the way. I think we won all of them, bar drew one and lost one. So basically, do the same, but improve our away form, and that should be 10 points. And you're not wrong. So I'm not going to sit here and lie. The only difference is, I think, in top 6 games, which I don't know what our record was like, go playing the Chelseas, playing the Liverpools, playing the Tottenhams. As much as you beat them, as much as we beat them last year in big games, in some of the big games, I don't know if it'll be more obviously difficult now because
we need to add 10 points. No, we need to add 10 points of our total from last season. To this season.
But I agree. And if it does, but on the maths cast, if it does and that happens, we should be finishing in the top 3 because 86 points gets you that 100%, which is why Mo's nodding.
Yeah, I expect 80. I expect 86 plus points. That would be
brilliant.
nice.
That means it goes to the wire between you and Man City.
No, because I think Man City.
And Arsenal are not in there now.
Yeah, Man City could easily get 35 points. I still think we're about 10 points away from City overall, and probably about as it currently stands, I think we're about 7 points away from Arsenal potentially.
Yeah, no,
I agree with that. In one sentence, what if after all of this, you get Harry Kane? What are the expectations? One sentence.
And we get Amrabat.
Yes.
You have to put us up there with competing for the title, probably.
Wait, who do you say? Harry Kane?
Harry Kane and Amrabat on top of Mount and
Harry Kane gets us in closing distance, bro. We're better than Arsenal. If we get Harry Kane, we're better than Arsenal.
Let's be real. Like Kane brings, as much as I'm not the biggest Kane fan, even though he's very good. He brings you 20 goals.
Yeah, he brings you that winning mentality.
And he brings no, we're not the winning mentality.
He's taking the piss, bro.
That's what I said. Yeah, I know. But to be fair, you could strike that against him. No, do you know what? Daps has got a point. You can strike that against Kane. He doesn't have maybe that winning mentality.
That's why, but that's why he doesn't go to United. That's why he doesn't go to United, because I've said this before. Listen, if he goes to United, that's a hell of a lot of pressure on him, because if he doesn't go to United,
because he's coming there with one job,
if Van Persie could do it, then why the hell can't Kane, right? And he knows it, that narrative, whether it's right or wrong, will be out there. That if he goes to Manchester United, firstly, if he goes to any other English club, his legacy, not his legacy, but it's going to taste a bit sour to some Tottenham fans, yeah? Right? So that's why I think he's favouring a move to PSG or to Bayern, because there's no that he's going to keep the Tottenham lot. Secondly, if he goes over there, he goes below the radar on this whole English media thing, right? He goes over there and he's joining a German team that, let's be real, if he goes and joins Bayern, even last season, Bayern were not good last season. Bayern still won the league, right? If he goes to Manchester United, he's got to back himself that he's going up against currently Pep City and Arteta's Arsenal, right? I don't think Kane wants that, but he don't want that pressure. He does not want that pressure.
Let me put it this way, right? And I know we'll wrap up in a sec, guys. Keep smashing the like button.
Yeah, the like button's there. Look, you know there. It's gonna thing. What you got?
Oh, that's nice and clear. Yeah, do it. Keep your phone there. That's nice. Yeah, there you go.
Look at the like button. I got my.
And it really helps the channel, people. Really helps us. When the show ends, if we get those likes as high as possible while we sleep, it gets pushed to new viewers who will then watch it and go either, yeah, we like them, or no, we hate them. They'll comment either way, slagging us off, or they'll comment, and then that helps us as well, and it gets pushed out. And then new people like you, if you're watching this and you're new, you'll subscribe, then you'll watch us tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe.
I disagree. I don't think the league is strengthened. I think the top 6 have strengthened, and I think other than Aston Villa as well, I think most of the bottom league, no Tony, the Crystal Palace, they might miss Olise. Wolves look absolutely.
Brighton. Even Brighton.
Palace lost.
No, I don't think Brighton are strong.
Brighton they can't strengthen if Caicedo leaves. I think there's too much of a drop. I think this season equals a 95+ point season to win the league.
Yeah, I think it does. And do you know what? With Mo, you saying about United under pressure, the last thing I'll say is that, okay, we got a bit giddy. February, March, we all remember it when Man United were 5 points off, whatever. But when you think about it, the facts are we were 5 points off. Yeah, we played an extra game. But the truth is, that 5 points, if you got Kane, Onana, Mount, and Amrabat, that should definitely be taking you closer. So if we can get that close in February, March, even though we fell off, and admit that, but with them players, you probably don't fall off as much. So yeah, let's see what happens, man.
Can I just say one more thing? Cass said, and Roy and Ty said 86 points, and they didn't consider that a title challenge. But Arsenal with 84 points last year, they consider themselves for an title race.
Because different points from different season require different things, Mo.
But you said that City will still finish above 90 points, which they did, throwing out the last 2 games.
I don't know if teams will get that many high points. I think it's going to be so competitive. Teams might not get 86 points. It might be an 80 point. It might be 80 points.
I think most of the mid-table teams were tough last year, and I think this year is different. And Mo, you're the one that alluded to it, because you say why couldn't Man United get within touching distance as well? Because you're the first one to point out that, like, why couldn't Arsenal get close to them when they're only 5 points off? Only now you're saying it to suit your agenda. Now they threw the last 2 games.
No, the agenda isn't between you and Man City. It's you and Arsenal. I said it last year. Arsenal have no. You're not. No.
Your mind.
20. I said the Arsenal title challenge is only 29 games.
It's supposed to be Judge Mo.
Right, Mo, can I just?
It's not Judge Mo. It's a Mo gender.
Yeah, just throwing it out there as well. If we were to get 86 points and say win and do it by wins, that's 29 wins basically in the league out of 38 games. So obviously you've got to throw draws and stuff in there. So it is a high amount of points. But like I said, and Cass saying, it might be competitive, and he might not win that many
86 points high.
I love that. Right. But yeah, it's going to be a competitive league. But guys, we're gonna wrap it up there. That was a great show. That manager debate was very interesting as well. I'm actually glad we spoke about that. So we said a few of us said Jurgen Klopp. We've thrown Arteta as well in there.
Because it was your idea, Ty?
Nah, to be fair, no, because I didn't expect us to run with the Klopp thing. I thought
just own it and say yes, it was.
Yeah. No, didn't expect Klopp's name to come out from 3 of our mouths. I thought I was going to be the only one.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. That's why I can't. Daps, think about it. You know me. I think of a topic when I know what my answer is. So then I'm like, oh, let me see what these look.
Same as what Mo does with his Mo genders.
Yeah, Mo genders. I'm not even joking. Judge Mo. It should literally just be Mo gender. It just runs.
Mo gender.
Big up, guys. Big up, Mr. Few as well.
Another Mo gender.
Is there another super chat?
People just give us some good feedback, so I'm just running it up. Why not? Yeah,
I mean,
big up the hard work, lads, as well. Hopefully, I'll be on YouTube in this channel soon. You will be, Philzy. Is he from Philadelphia, or is his name just Philzy?
By the look of his profile picture, I think his name's Phil.
Yeah.
Oh, that was harsh from you, Dave.
Oh my god! Big up for the super chat, my man. Roy, thank you for coming on as well. Great guest as always, man. Let the people know where
Thank
they
you
can
very much
find
for
you as
having me.
well, like on your Twitter and stuff. If you just want to quickly plug it.
Yeah, just at CFC Roy. Talk Chelsea, talk ball. I'm a bit of a tactico, so just a heads up. Follow the kid.
There you
Let's see
go.
what's cracking, man.
Yeah, if you don't know, Mo, I mean, Roy's actually featured in the film. It's called Shark's Tale. Bruce,
I can't laugh just because I don't know what
Bruce.
it's joke is. I haven't watched it.
Bruce the Shark.
Yeah.
Hey, no,
if you
Bruce the Shark's in Finding Nemo.
Yeah, it's Finding Nemo, bro. It's not Shark Tale.
Oh, I yeah,
I was
industry.
Finding Nemo, bad boy movie still.